Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. Listen to me real close, because this right here, this is what separates the winners from the quitters. You don't have to feel like doing something to do it. You don't wait for motivation to drop in like a gift from the heavens. No. You decide right now that you're going to move no matter what, because life rewards those who show up, even on the days when they want to crawl back under the covers and hide. I'm talking about discipline. That grit deep down inside you that says, I don't care how tired I am. I don't care if I'm scared or doubtful. I'm getting up. I'm stepping out. I'm putting one foot in front of the other. You break it down piece by piece. Don't look at the mountain. Look at the first step, then the next. That's how empires are built. That's how dreams become reality. You got to remember your WHY, your reason, why you started this journey in the first place. Hold on to that reason like your life depends on it. Because it does. When doubt and fear whisper lies, you shout back with purpose. You don't have time to wait for perfect conditions. Perfect is a lie that kills dreams. Silence that voice inside telling you can't. That voice is your enemy. Tell it to sit down and shut up. Progress, not perfection. That's the game. And listen, you don't have to do this alone. Tell somebody your goal, make it real. Lock it in. When you have eyes on you, you'll push harder than ever before, because failure is no longer an option. And here's the truth. Imagine how it feels when you finally get there. The pride, the joy, the freedom. Now imagine the pain, the regret if you don't. What's worse? Taking action and failing, or never trying at all. You already know the answer. So get up, move, force yourself to take that step, because the only thing standing between you and your dreams is the action you haven't taken yet. Now go make it happen. Motivation is often mistaken for the fuel that powers all action. People wait for that spark, that surge of energy, that moment when they feel ready to dive into their work, their goals, or any task at hand. But here's the truth that so many miss. Motivation is a feeling, not a requirement. It's not a prerequisite you need to check off before you start moving forward. It's not the green light that magically appears to give you permission to act. Motivation is a fleeting, unpredictable emotion that comes and goes like the wind. If you wait for it, you will almost always be waiting too long. You see, motivation can be powerful when it shows up. It can light a fire inside you, make you feel unstoppable, and propel you forward with energy. But it's not something you can rely on consistently. Life is full of ups and downs, and your feelings change every day. Some mornings you'll wake up ready to conquer the world, and some mornings you'll barely be able to drag yourself out of bed. If you believe motivation is the key to action, then you're handing over control of your life to something that you can't command. You're leaving your success to chance. The real power lies in understanding that motivation is simply a bonus. It's a nice to have, but not a must have. What really drives results is discipline, commitment, and the decision to move forward even when the feelings aren't there. Think about it, professionals, athletes, artists, and leaders don't wait for motivation to show up before they put in the work. They show up regardless. They push through the discomfort, the doubt, the lack of inspiration. They take action because they know that waiting for motivation to arrive is a luxury they cannot afford. Recognizing motivation as a feeling rather than a requirement is freeing. It takes the pressure off you to feel ready all the time. Instead, you can focus on developing habits and systems that keep you moving forward no matter what. For example, a runner doesn't wait until they feel excited to go for a run. They put on their shoes and step outside because they've made it a habit. The feeling of motivation may or may not be there, but the habit carries them through. The same goes for anyone chasing their goals. You build routines, you set deadlines, you create accountability. These are the engines that keep you going when motivation decides to take a day off. This perspective also shifts how you respond to resistance. When you understand that motivation is not the gatekeeper of your success, resistance becomes less intimidating. Resistance is that voice inside you that says, I don't want to do this right now. It's the part that wants to procrastinate, to stay comfortable, to avoid discomfort. And that voice, it's always going to be there. Everyone has it. The difference is what you do with it. When motivation is a feeling, resistance is expected. It's part of the process, not a signal that you should stop. You recognize that you don't have to listen to the voice that's telling you to quit or wait for a better moment. You acknowledge it, but you don't obey it. You act in spite of it. You take the first step, then the next, and soon enough, momentum builds. Once you start moving, motivation often comes rushing back, but you don't wait around for it to kick in. You create your own momentum. It's important to understand that motivation often follows action, not the other way around. This is a game changer. People think, I need to feel motivated before I start. But the truth is, the act of starting, no matter how small, can ignite motivation. When you force yourself to begin, your brain responds positively. You feel accomplishment, progress, and that creates a spark of motivation that wasn't there before. It's like lighting a match in the dark. The action is the strike, and motivation is the flame that follows. Another critical point is how we confuse motivation with inspiration. Inspiration can certainly stir emotions and drive action, but it's often short-lived if it's not backed by consistent effort. Relying solely on inspiration or motivation is like trying to power a car with a gust of wind. It's not sustainable. What makes the car move every day is the steady flow of fuel and a driver who knows where they're going. In your life, that steady flow is discipline and commitment. The driver is your decision to act regardless of how you feel. You'll find that once you internalize this understanding, your relationship with work, goals, and productivity changes dramatically. You stop beating yourself up on days when motivation is low because you know it's just a feeling, not a failure. You stop waiting for the right mood or the perfect moment. Because you realize those moments are illusions that keep you stuck. Instead, you embrace the discomfort of starting without feeling ready and see it as a sign of strength and progress. It's also worth mentioning that motivation can sometimes be misleading. It can be fickle and focused on feelings of pleasure or excitement. If you rely on motivation, you might find yourself chasing short-term highs and burning out quickly. But when you detach your action from motivation, you build resilience. You learn that progress comes from showing up every day, rain or shine, energized or tired, motivated or not. This mindset is what separates those who dream from those who do. Those who wait for motivation remain stuck in the realm of ideas and intentions. Those who act without waiting are the ones who create change, who move their lives forward, who achieve greatness. They understand that motivation is not the foundation of success. Action is. And action requires a commitment that goes beyond feelings. So, the next time you feel like you don't have the motivation to start something important, remember this: you don't need motivation. You need a decision. You need a promise to yourself that you'll move forward. One step at a time, no matter how you feel. Because motivation will come and go. But that decision, that commitment, that's what lasts. And that's what gets you where you want to go. Commitment to showing up, no matter what, is one of the most powerful forces you can cultivate in your life. It means deciding ahead of time that no matter how you feel, no matter what obstacles arise, you will be present and ready to take action. This kind of commitment is what separates those who dream from those who actually achieve. It's easy to be motivated when everything is going well, when you're full of energy, and when the world seems to be cooperating with your plans. But true success comes from showing up on the days when you don't want to, on the days when you feel tired, distracted, or overwhelmed. On the days when giving up seems like the easier choice. When you commit to showing up, no matter what, you build a kind of momentum that motivation alone can never provide. Showing up means more than just physically being there. It means bringing your focus, your attention, and your willingness to do the work, even if it feels uncomfortable or difficult. When you commit to this, you're making a promise to yourself that your goals and your growth matter more than temporary feelings or excuses. This kind of mindset is what creates lasting change because it builds resilience and discipline. It trains your mind and body to push past resistance and keep going. When you make a habit of showing up, you begin to see progress in your life, not because every day is perfect, but because you consistently take steps forward. One of the most important things to understand about commitment is that it is not dependent on how you feel. Feelings are unreliable. Some days you might feel inspired and energized, and other days you might feel tired, frustrated, or discouraged. If you only show up when you feel like it, you're allowing your emotions to dictate your actions, which can lead to inconsistency and stagnation. Instead, committing to showing up means you take control over your actions regardless of your emotional state. It means you act with discipline, not just desire. The power of commitment also lies in its ability to reduce decision fatigue. When you decide in advance that you will show up no matter what, you remove the daily question of, do I feel like it today? From your mind. This frees up mental energy that you can then use to focus on the task at hand instead of debating whether or not to start. This pre-commitment creates a structure in your life where showing up becomes automatic, a non-negotiable part of your routine. It's no longer about motivation. It's about honoring a promise you made to yourself. Commitment to showing up no matter what also builds trust in yourself. Every time you follow through on that promise, even when it's hard, you reinforce your belief in your own reliability. You prove to yourself that you can count on yourself to do what needs to be done, which builds confidence and self-esteem. This trust is a foundation that supports all areas of your life because you begin to see that have the power to take control and shape your future through consistent effort. Another critical aspect of this commitment is learning to embrace discomfort. Growth rarely happens in comfort zones. When you commit to showing up, you accept that discomfort is part of the journey. There will be days when pushing through feels like an uphill battle. You might be physically exhausted, mentally drained, or emotionally overwhelmed. But by showing up anyway, you train yourself to handle these challenges, which makes you stronger over time. You develop grit and perseverance, qualities that are essential for long-term success. This commitment also helps you develop patience. Results rarely come overnight, and often the process can feel slow and unrewarding. When you show up consistently, you remind yourself that progress is a journey, not a destination. You learn to trust the process, knowing that every small effort compounds over time. This patience allows you to stay steady and avoid the temptation to quit just because you don't see immediate results. Showing up consistently means you are investing in your future success one day at a time. Commitment to showing up no matter what also inspires those around you. When people see your dedication, your willingness to be present even in the face of challenges, they are motivated to push themselves as well. You become a beacon of reliability and strength, someone others can look to as an example of what it means to be disciplined and determined. This influence can create positive ripple effects in your personal and professional relationships, lifting others as you rise. Furthermore, this kind of commitment reduces regret. When you consistently show up, you minimize the chances of looking back and wishing you had done more or started sooner. Even on the toughest days, you can be proud that you stayed true to your path. You know that you gave your best effort, regardless of circumstances, which creates a sense of fulfillment and peace. This peace is a powerful motivator to keep going, even when the going gets tough. In life, there will always be distractions, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But commitment to showing up no matter what acts as an anchor, keeping you steady when external circumstances try to pull you off course. It reminds you that your success is not about waiting for perfect conditions or the right mood. It's about being present, being consistent, and honoring your goals through action. This commitment transforms the way you approach challenges because you stop seeing obstacles as reasons to quit and start seeing them as opportunities to prove your dedication. Ultimately, showing up no matter what is a statement of your values. It's a declaration that your dreams, your goals, and your growth matter deeply to you. It's a refusal to be controlled by temporary feelings or external circumstances. When you commit this way, you take control of your life and your future. You become someone who doesn't just hope for success, but actively works for it every single day. This kind of commitment is what turns potential into reality and dreams into accomplishments. When faced with a big goal or a daunting task, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. The size of the challenge can make you freeze up or procrastinate because it feels too massive to tackle all at once. That's why breaking the task into small, manageable steps is one of the most effective ways to make progress. When you divide your goal into bite-sized pieces, you create a clear path forward that feels achievable and less intimidating. This approach shifts your mindset from, I have to do this huge thing, to, I just need to take the next small step, which is much easier to handle mentally and emotionally. Small steps provide clarity. When you look at a large task in its entirety, your mind might struggle to figure out where to begin. But when you break it down, each step becomes a specific, actionable item. This clarity removes confusion and paralysis. Instead of feeling lost or stuck, you know exactly what to do next. This simple shift reduces anxiety and makes the work feel more doable. Because every step has a clear focus and endpoint. You can check off each small win, which builds momentum and confidence as you move forward. Breaking tasks down also helps with managing your time and energy more effectively. Big projects often feel like they require huge blocks of uninterrupted time, which can be difficult to find. But smaller tasks can often be completed in short bursts. This flexibility allows you to fit progress into your day, no matter how busy you are. Even 10 or 15 minutes spent working on one small part adds up over time. These little increments of effort contribute to steady progress, which eventually leads to accomplishing the whole task. Another benefit of dividing tasks into smaller steps is that it allows you to identify potential challenges early. When you focus only on the big picture, you might miss obstacles until they become major problems. But with smaller steps, you can test and adjust as you go. This way, you can troubleshoot issues quickly and avoid getting stuck or wasting time on ineffective strategies. It's like navigating a path where you check your footing at every step rather than blindly charging forward. This iterative approach leads to smarter, more efficient progress. Small steps also help in overcoming procrastination. When the task feels too large or vague, it's tempting to put it off because you don't know where to start or how to begin. But if you commit to just one small step, it becomes less intimidating to take action. That first small move often creates a ripple effect that makes the next step easier, and then the next after that. Action builds momentum, and momentum makes it easier to keep going. This is why the hardest part is often just getting started, and breaking things down into manageable pieces solves that problem by making starting easy. Psychologically, small wins are incredibly motivating. Each time you complete a step, your brain rewards you with a sense of accomplishment. This positive reinforcement boosts your confidence and encourages you to continue. When you look back and see all the small steps you've completed, it builds a sense of progress that fuels further action. This is much more effective than focusing only on the distant goal, which can feel so far away that it seems unreachable. Celebrating these small wins keeps your spirits high and your motivation alive throughout the process. Breaking a task into smaller parts also improves focus and quality. When you concentrate on one manageable chunk at a time, you can give it your full attention and effort. Multitasking or trying to do everything at once can lead to mistakes and lower quality work. But by isolating individual steps, you reduce distractions and increase your ability to perform each task well. This approach often results in better outcomes and a smoother path to completion. It's important to recognize that not all steps need to be equal in size or complexity. Some parts of the task will naturally be bigger or more challenging, while others might be quick and simple. The key is to break things down until each step feels like something you can realistically complete without feeling overwhelmed. Sometimes that means starting with the easiest or most interesting parts to build confidence before tackling harder pieces. Other times, it means breaking complex steps down even further until they are manageable. Flexibility in how you segment the work allows you to create a plan that fits your style and keeps you moving. Another advantage of this approach is that it helps with planning and prioritization. When you see all the smaller steps laid out, you can decide the best order to tackle them. You might find that some steps depend on others being finished first, or that some have deadlines that come sooner. This organized view makes it easier to allocate your time and resources wisely. Instead of guessing or jumping around, you have a roadmap that guides your efforts efficiently. Breaking a task into smaller steps also helps reduce fear and self-doubt. Big goals often trigger thoughts like, I can't do this, or this is too hard, which can be paralyzing. But when you focus on just the next small step, it feels much more doable. This reduces anxiety and helps build belief in your ability to succeed. Each small success chips away at those negative thoughts and replaces them with confidence and momentum. Finally, this method encourages consistency and persistence. When progress is manageable, it's easier to keep showing up day after day. You develop a rhythm and routine because the work no longer feels like a monumental struggle. Instead, it becomes a series of small, intentional actions that over time add up to big results. Consistency beats intensity in the long run, and breaking tasks down creates the conditions for steady, sustainable effort. By breaking your tasks into small, manageable steps, you transform overwhelming challenges into achievable journeys. You create clarity, build momentum, manage your energy better, and strengthen your confidence. Each small step is a victory that brings you closer to your goal, making the entire process feel less daunting and more rewarding. This approach is a powerful way to move forward no matter how big or complex your dreams may be. Your WHY is the deepest reason behind everything you do. It's the purpose that drives you when the path gets tough, the anchor that holds you steady when storms arise. Without a clear WHY, your efforts can feel aimless, your goals like empty boxes. But when you connect deeply with your WHY, it becomes the fuel that powers you through obstacles, doubt, and fatigue. It's not just a vague idea. It's the emotional force that gives meaning to your work and ignites passion in your heart. Everyone has a do on HY, even if they haven't clearly identified it yet. It's the reason you wake up in the morning, the dream that keeps you going when others quit. Sometimes it's tied to your family, your desire to provide a better life for them, to be a role model. Other times, it's the vision of creating something meaningful, leaving a legacy, or making a difference in the world. Your BOO-HY is personal and unique, and it's what separates fleeting motivation from lasting drive. When you use your BOO-HY as fuel, you tap into a source of energy that doesn't depend on external circumstances or temporary emotions. Motivation comes and goes, but your do-HY stays constant on days when you feel tired, uninspired, or defeated. Your BOO-HY reminds you why you started in the first place. It reignites your purpose and pushes you forward when your willpower wanes. This connection to your WHY makes all the difference between quitting and persevering. Understanding your WHY helps you stay focused on what truly matters. It acts like a compass, guiding your decisions and actions. When distractions and doubts arise, your BUHY pulls you back on course. Instead of chasing every new opportunity or giving in to fear, you stay aligned with your deeper purpose. This clarity prevents wasted effort and keeps your energy directed towards what brings you closer to your vision. Your BUHY also provides emotional resilience. Pursuing goals is rarely easy. Setbacks, failures, and frustrations are inevitable. Without a strong BUHY, these challenges can feel like signs to give up. But when you connect with your deeper reason, setbacks become temporary obstacles, not reasons to quit. Your BUHY fuels your determination to learn, adapt, and keep moving forward no matter what. It transforms obstacles into stepping stones and failure into growth. Using your BUHY as fuel also transforms the way you handle pain and discomfort. Every journey towards success includes moments of struggle, long hours, sacrifices, and hard choices. Your BUHY gives you the strength to endure these challenges because you see them as part of a bigger picture. The discomfort is no longer just pain. It's a necessary part of growth and progress. This mindset allows you to embrace challenges rather than avoid them, knowing that each difficulty brings you closer to fulfilling your purpose. Your BUHY ignites passion, and passion fuels consistency. When your work connects to something meaningful, it doesn't feel like a chore or obligation. Instead, it becomes a source of joy and fulfillment. This emotional connection makes it easier to stay committed day after day because you're not just working for superficial rewards. You're working for something that resonates deeply with your soul. This intrinsic motivation is far more powerful and sustainable than external incentives. Clarity around your BUHY can also improve your confidence and self-belief. When you know what you stand for and why you're doing something, you approach challenges with greater courage. Your BUHY reminds you of your value and the importance of your mission. This belief in your purpose strengthens your ability to take risks, face fears, and overcome self-doubt. It gives you the courage to step out of your comfort zone and grow into the person you need to become. Sharing your BUHY with others can deepen its power. When you express your purpose aloud, it becomes more real and tangible. This sharing also builds accountability because you create a network of support and encouragement. People who understand your BUHY can uplift you when your energy falters and remind you of your vision. This community connection can amplify your drive and provide additional fuel when your own reserves run low. Your BUHY also shapes your identity. It answers the question of who you are and who you want to be. When your actions align with your BUHY, you experience authenticity and integrity. This alignment creates inner peace and satisfaction because you're living in accordance with your true self. It prevents the frustration and burnout that come from chasing goals that don't resonate with your core values. Using your BUHY as fuel requires reflection and clarity. It's not always immediately obvious what your deepest reason is. Sometimes you have to peel back layers of expectations, fears, and distractions to discover it. Taking time to reflect on what truly matters to you, what moves you emotionally and spiritually, can reveal your BUHY. Journaling, meditation, and honest conversations with trusted people can help clarify this purpose. Once you identify your BUHY, it's important to revisit it regularly. Life changes, and so can your understanding of your purpose. Checking in with your BUHY helps you stay connected and adjust your goals as needed. This ongoing connection ensures that your actions remain meaningful and aligned with your evolving vision. Ultimately, your boo-hy is the fire inside that refuses to be extinguished. It's what keeps you moving forward when everything else seems to be working against you. When you use your boo-hy as fuel, you're not just chasing goals. You're living a life filled with meaning, passion, and unstoppable drive. Your boo-hy is the heart of your journey and the source of your greatest strength. The inner critic is that persistent voice inside your head that questions your worth, doubts your abilities, and highlights your mistakes. It's the nagging presence that tells you you're not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough to succeed. This voice can be loud and relentless, especially when you're trying to take action or push toward a goal. Silencing this inner critic is essential if you want to move forward and achieve what you're truly capable of. It's not about eliminating self-reflection or ignoring areas for growth, but rather about quieting the destructive, limiting beliefs that hold you back. The first step to silencing the inner critic is recognizing when it's speaking. This voice often operates automatically, blending into your thoughts so seamlessly that you might not even realize it's there. But once you become aware of those negative self-talk moments, when you catch yourself thinking, I can't do this, I'm going to fail, or I'm not worthy, you gain power over them. Awareness is the gateway to change because you can't address something you don't notice. By noticing these thoughts as they arise, you create space to challenge and change them. Understanding that the inner critic is just one perspective, not the absolute truth, is crucial. This voice often exaggerates problems, focuses on the negative, and ignores your strengths and past successes. It operates from fear and insecurity rather than fact. When you realize that this voice is just one part of your mind, not the whole story, you can start to distance yourself from its judgments. This separation allows you to question the validity of those thoughts instead of accepting them as facts. You can ask yourself, is this really true? What evidence do I have to support this thought? Often, you'll find that the inner critic's claims don't hold up under scrutiny. Replacing the inner critic's negative messages with more compassionate, realistic self-talk is a powerful way to silence it. When you catch yourself slipping into criticism, pause and consciously choose to respond with kindness. For example, if your inner critic says, you're going to mess this up, counter with, I'm prepared and capable, and I will do my best. This shift doesn't mean ignoring mistakes or weaknesses. It means encouraging yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a close friend. Compassionate self-talk nurtures confidence and reduces the power of fear-based thoughts. Practicing mindfulness can also help quiet the inner critic. Mindfulness involves observing your thoughts without judgment, simply noticing them as they come and go. When you cultivate this awareness, the inner critic loses its grip because you no longer get caught up in its stories or believe every word it says. Instead, you watch the thoughts like passing clouds. This distance creates a sense of calm and control, allowing you to focus on what truly matters instead of being distracted or paralyzed by doubt. Another way to silence the inner critic is to challenge the perfectionism that often fuels it. The voice inside may demand flawless performance, unrealistic standards, or constant achievement. This pressure sets you up for failure because perfection is impossible. By accepting that mistakes and setbacks are part of growth, you take the wind out of the critic's sails. Embracing imperfection allows you to try new things, learn, and improve without being crippled by fear of failure or judgment. Building a habit of celebrating small wins helps weaken the inner critic as well. When you focus on progress and effort, rather than only outcomes, you create a positive feedback loop. Acknowledging your achievements, no matter how minor, shifts your attention away from criticism and toward growth. This mindset encourages you to keep moving forward instead of getting stuck in self-doubt or negative self-talk. Surrounding yourself with supportive people who believe in you, you can also drown out the inner critic's voice. Positive relationships provide encouragement and honest feedback that helps you see your true potential. When others recognize your strengths and cheer you on, it becomes easier to reject the harsh judgments from within. Supportive communities remind you that you're not alone in your struggles and that everyone faces self-doubt at times. It's important to remember that silencing the inner critic is a process, not a one-time event. This voice may try to resurface, especially in stressful situations or when you're stepping outside your comfort zone. But each time you recognize it and choose to respond differently, you weaken its power. Over time, the negative self-talk loses its influence and your inner dialogue becomes more supportive and empowering. Engaging in self-care practices that nurture your mental and emotional health also reduces the inner critic's volume. When you get enough rest, eat well, exercise, and engage in activities that bring you joy, your overall mindset improves. A healthy mind is better equipped to handle challenges and resist destructive self-criticism. Taking care of yourself sends a message that you are worthy of kindness and respect, which counters the harshness of the inner critic. Lastly, developing a growth mindset can help silence the inner critic. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. When you adopt this perspective, failures become opportunities to improve rather than evidence of inadequacy. This outlook weakens the inner critic's messages of, "I'm not good enough," and replaces them with curiosity and determination. Silencing the inner critic means creating an inner environment where you can thrive without being weighed down by fear and doubt. It's about reclaiming your mental space so that you can focus on your goals, take risks, and grow. By becoming aware of negative self-talk, questioning its validity, practicing kindness toward yourself, and cultivating supportive habits, you can quiet that harsh voice and make room for confidence, courage, and progress. Creating accountability is one of the most powerful strategies for turning intentions into actions and goals into achievements. When you hold yourself accountable, you're essentially making a commitment to follow through on what you say you're going to do. This commitment adds a layer of responsibility that motivates you to stay on track, even when motivation wanes or distractions appear. Accountability can be the difference between merely planning to act and actually taking consistent, effective steps toward your goals. One of the reasons accountability works so well is because it taps into the social nature of human beings. We naturally respond to expectations especially when others are involved. Knowing that someone else is aware of your goals and progress creates a sense of obligation to meet those expectations. This external pressure can be more motivating than internal desire alone, particularly during times when enthusiasm is low or when obstacles arise. Accountability transforms a private promise into a public one, which raises the stakes and strengthens your resolve. To create accountability effectively, it helps to share your goals with a trusted person or group. This could be a friend, family member, mentor, coach, or even a community of like-minded individuals. When you openly communicate what you want to achieve, you invite others to support you and check in on your progress. This support system not only encourages you, but can also offer valuable feedback, guidance, and encouragement when you face setbacks. The feeling of being supported makes the journey less isolating and more manageable. Another powerful aspect of accountability is the regular check-ins it requires. Setting specific times to review your progress, either with yourself or with others, helps maintain focus and momentum. These check-ins create natural deadlines and milestones, which prevent procrastination and help you break down larger goals into manageable steps. When you have to report on your progress, you're more likely to prioritize tasks, manage your time well, and maintain consistent effort. Technology offers many tools to help create and maintain accountability. Apps, journals, planners, or shared digital workspaces can track progress, set reminders, and document achievements. These tools provide tangible evidence of your commitment and progress, which can be motivating in itself. Seeing your progress over time boosts confidence and encourages continued action. They also help you identify patterns or areas where you might be slipping, allowing you to adjust your strategies accordingly. Sometimes creating accountability involves making consequences or rewards a part of your plan. When you know that there are specific outcomes tied to your actions, positive or negative, you're more likely to stay committed. Rewards can be anything meaningful to you, such as taking a break, treating yourself to something special, or celebrating milestones. Consequences might involve a self-imposed penalty, such as donating to a cause you don't support if you miss a goal, or telling your accountability partner about your slip-up. These consequences and rewards help keep your focus sharp and your motivation high. Accountability also strengthens self-discipline. When you consistently meet your commitments to yourself and others, you build trust in your ability to follow through. This trust fosters a positive cycle where each success reinforces your confidence and determination. Over time, accountability helps transform habits and behaviors, making discipline less of a struggle and more of a natural part of your routine. One challenge many people face is creating accountability without becoming overly dependent on external validation. While sharing goals with others is helpful, it's important to balance external accountability with internal commitment. Ultimately, the strongest form of accountability comes from within, knowing your why, understanding your purpose, and valuing your growth enough to hold yourself responsible. External accountability can act as a catalyst, but internal accountability is what sustains long-term progress. Building a culture of accountability also means being honest and transparent with yourself and others. It's natural to want to present your best self and avoid admitting failures or mistakes. But true accountability requires vulnerability. Acknowledging when you've fallen short or made errors opens the door for learning and improvement. It also deepens trust with your accountability partners and encourages a growth mindset where setbacks are seen as part of the process rather than final verdicts. Another important element is setting clear, specific, and realistic goals. Accountability is much easier to maintain when your goals are concrete and measurable. Vague intentions like get better at exercise or be more productive are difficult to track and evaluate, but goals like work out 3 times a week for 30 minutes or complete 2 chapters of my book by Friday provide clear targets. When you know exactly what you're accountable for, it's easier to assess progress and stay motivated. Creating accountability also involves learning how to handle setbacks with grace and resilience. No journey is perfectly linear, and everyone encounters obstacles. The key is to maintain accountability by recommitting after a slip up rather than giving up entirely. Sharing these challenges with your accountability partners can provide new perspectives and solutions. It also helps to remind yourself that accountability is about progress, not perfection. Accountability creates a feedback loop that accelerates growth and achievement. When you track your actions, receive feedback, and adjust accordingly, you develop greater self-awareness and improve your strategies. This iterative process keeps you aligned with your goals and allows you to course correct before small issues become major barriers. Ultimately, creating accountability means creating a system that supports your success. It's a blend of external support and internal commitment that keeps you moving forward. Whether through relationships, tools, or personal reflection, accountability provides the structure and motivation necessary to take consistent action. This consistency is the foundation of meaningful progress, turning aspirations into reality and dreams into achievements. Visualization is a powerful tool that can shape the way you approach your goals and influence the decisions you make every day. When you visualize the outcome you desire, you create a mental image of success that can inspire and motivate you to take consistent action. But alongside imagining the rewards, it's equally important to visualize the pain of regret, the feeling that arises when you look back and realize you didn't give your best effort or missed an opportunity. This dual approach, seeing both the victory and the cost of inaction, creates a powerful emotional tension that pushes you to move forward even when you don't feel like it. Visualizing the outcome means picturing the specific results you want as vividly as possible. This might be imagining yourself achieving a goal, experiencing the emotions that come with success, and sensing the changes in your life that result from your efforts. The clearer and more detailed your mental picture, the stronger the pull it has on your motivation. This mental rehearsal helps build confidence, reduces anxiety, and primes your brain for the actions necessary to reach that vision. It's not just daydreaming, it's a form of preparation that aligns your mindset with your aspirations. At the same time, imagining the pain of regret introduces a different but equally compelling motivation. Regret is a powerful emotion because it's tied to missed chances, lost time, and opportunities wasted. When you picture what it will feel like if you don't act, if you stay stuck, avoid discomfort, or procrastinate, you tap into a source of energy that can shake you out of complacency. This feeling can be sharp and uncomfortable, but it serves as a wake-up call. Regret makes the cost of inaction real, transforming vague intentions into urgent necessity. The pain of regret often hits hardest when you think about the long term. It's not just about failing to complete a task today. It's about the cumulative effect of small choices over time. Visualizing regret means imagining the future version of yourself, looking back on the present moment, wishing you had taken different actions. This future hindsight can be a brutal mirror, but it's also an honest one. It forces you to confront the reality that every decision you make now shapes your future. This awareness can spark a sense of urgency that cuts through excuses and hesitation. When you combine visualization of success with visualization of regret, you create a balanced emotional motivation. The positive vision of achievement draws you forward with hope and excitement, while the negative image of regret pushes you away from complacency and fear of failure. This combination forms a powerful feedback loop that fuels perseverance. It's easier to keep moving when you're inspired by the prize ahead and determined to avoid the pain behind. Visualization also helps in clarifying your priorities. When you picture the outcome you want, you gain a better understanding of what matters most to you. This clarity makes it easier to say no to distractions and focus your energy on meaningful actions. Similarly, imagining regret sharpens your sense of what you stand to lose if you don't commit fully. This focus prevents you from getting sidetracked by short-term comforts or temptations that don't serve your bigger goals. Engaging your emotions in visualization strengthens your connection to your goals. Emotions are the fuel that drives behavior. And by imagining how success feels and how regret hurts, you create a strong emotional charge around your decisions. This emotional engagement makes it less likely that you will ignore or avoid the tasks that lead to your dreams. Instead, you become emotionally invested in the process, which sustains your effort over the long haul. It's also important to revisit these visualizations regularly. Consistent mental rehearsal keeps your goals fresh in your mind and maintains the emotional tension that motivates action. Without regular reinforcement, the vividness of your images fades, and with it, your drive. By making visualization a daily or frequent habit, you build mental resilience and stay aligned with your purpose. Even during challenging times, visualization can be especially effective when combined with journaling or verbal affirmations. Writing down your visions of success and your reflections on potential regret solidifies them in your mind. Speaking your goals and fears out loud adds another layer of commitment and accountability. These practices deepen your emotional connection and make your mental images more concrete and compelling. When you vividly imagine the pain of regret, you also develop greater self-awareness. You begin to recognize patterns of procrastination, fear, or avoidance that lead to missed opportunities. This awareness gives you the power to interrupt those patterns and choose a different path. Visualization turns abstract feelings into concrete motivators that you can act upon. It shifts regret from a distant possibility into an immediate, actionable warning. It's crucial to balance the visualization of regret so it motivates rather than paralyzes you. Too much focus on negative outcomes can lead to anxiety and overwhelm, which might cause you to freeze instead of move forward. The key is to use regret as a prompt for action, not as a source of despair. Pairing it with positive visions of what's possible creates hope and direction, making regret a constructive force rather than a destructive one. In essence, visualization of outcome and regret creates a mental framework that propels you toward action. It grounds your goals in emotional reality, making success feel attainable and failure costly. This dual vision energizes your mindset and sharpens your focus, helping you overcome hesitation and maintain consistent effort. By harnessing the power of your imagination and emotions, you create an internal drive that sustains you through challenges and pushes you toward the life you want to create. When you combine all these elements, recognizing that motivation is just a feeling, committing to show up no matter what, breaking tasks into manageable steps, using your GUHY as fuel, silencing the inner critic, creating accountability, and vividly visualizing both the outcome and the pain of regret. You build a powerful foundation for taking action even when you don't feel like it. These strategies work together to transform hesitation into momentum, fear into courage, and intention into achievement. The path won't always be easy, and there will be moments of doubt. But with this mindset and these tools, you can push through those barriers and keep moving forward. Taking consistent action, fueled by purpose and supported by discipline and accountability, is the key to unlocking your potential and turning your dreams into reality.